Hey everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Cave Story. My name's KirbyViper93, you can call me KV if you like. In the last episode, we explored the egg corridor, got a new weapon, and saved some Mimiga chick who hasn't told us her name but expects us to help her out. Not sure I like the direction this is going, but whatever, we'll roll with it. Really, all we have to do now is just make our way back through the egg corridor. This is the point where you want to pick up any of the health pickups or the missile launcher or basically anything that I showed you guys, because really there's no reason for you to come back here plot-wise until the very end, but by that point you cannot get anything here from the beginning of the game. I'm not going to tell you why, but once we come back I'll explain it, or I won't have to explain it probably. But really, this is the prime time to pick up any pickups, any power-ups that you want to grab. So really, you just make your way back through the egg corridor. Now that you know what you're doing, it's really, you know, it's just a quick run. I probably could totally have cut this, but it's, you know, it's really quick. It doesn't seem like it was worth it. You just make your way back through here. Try not to get hit too much, because, you know, losing experience and all that stuff. The weapon system is actually very clever in this game. It's unlike anything that anyone's ever seen before. And Daisuke Amaya is just, you know, is just a brilliant, brilliant project. This is actually, I guess I should get into, like, the backstory of the game itself now. Like, how it got to be where it is. While this is Sue. Although she never did really tell you her name, this is Sue. But while Sue's talking to Kazuma, I guess I can tell you how we got to where we are with this game. The original Cave Story was a freeware released in 2004, I want to say. It was a one-man project. A guy called Daisuke Amaya, known usually as Pixel, programmed this game, did all the level design, the writing, the music, everything, graphics. This is a one-man project in his spare time over the course of 5 years. And I think that this is amazing, especially for the quality that this game is. It got sort of a cult following, the original game did, and eventually it was picked up by Nicholas, I believe that's how that is said, the developer that released it again for WiiWare. And they kind of revamped it, they upped the graphics, they redid the music, and sort of released a couple new challenges, and that's kind of cool to see, like, a one-man indie game get that kind of attention from a big developer, or a bigger developer. It's not really, you know, a huge name, Nicholas. But there was a WiiWare release. I believe it was also released for DSiWare. I'm not totally sure on that. I might have been making that up, but it also got picked up for a remake for the Nintendo 3DS, as I mentioned when we were talking about the music. So, putting that on hold real quick, we're back in Arthur's house. It looks like... What do you have to say, Jack? Sue's returned, and we locked her up inside a cage up top the village. Well, what the hell did you do that for? When the doctor's gang comes, we'll give them Sue in exchange for Toroko. I feel like a bad guy probably is not going to listen to reason like that. So there we have Sue up at the top of the village. Let's go see what she has to say. See if we can't bust her out of there. I don't think King's going to be very accommodating in that regard for some reason. But yeah, Cave Story was picked up for a release for the 3DS with updated 3D graphics and music even. And it was really cool. I've gotten a chance to play that. I didn't like the 3D graphics so much, just because the movement, it looks more natural for pixels than it does for, like, 3D models. It didn't seem right to me. But we get the information that we need to go to the next area from Sue over there. And we take that into the teleporter and not leave Arthur's house. Jesus Christ, quote, what are you doing here? Alright, so, connection with Bushlands complete. The teleporter. Let's go to the Bushlands. I said let's go to the Bushlands. You don't have to ask me again. So here we have the Bushlands, and this is actually the second major case of changed translation from the original freeware game and the re-release, because actually the freeware game was translated by fans who probably did not get the Japanese translations as correct as they could have. And so a lot of the language in this game was kind of changed around from the original freeware game. And that really sort of like rubbed people the wrong way. I mean, I don't mind either way. I mean, you know, I can certainly understand the necessity to change the language around for the sake of accuracy, just trying to get the language right, trying to be respectful to the Japanese, because, you know, it was a Japanese guy that made this. But I don't understand. The other big instance that I didn't point out when it came around was actually Balrog. When we encountered him, his catchphrase, "Oh yeah," in this game was originally "Huzzah!" And, you know, a lot of people really liked "Huzzah." So, I don't know. People got pissed off. Anyway, here we have Santa. That's the name of this Mimiga. And we went and got his key for him, because he doesn't really have anything to fight off all those critters. But Santa apparently has something nice for us. A present from Santa, as it were. So, we talked to him, he's like, "Hey, thanks a lot, you're a bro," and he gives you the fireball, your third weapon of the game. I haven't seen anyone around here, but if you plan on going further in, you'll need to go through the fireplace inside Chaco's house. Alrighty, so we check his fireplace just to see. Charcoal burns in Santa's fireplace. Alright, cool. What's this sign say? "Danger, this trap is instant death, use extreme caution." This, I guess he put there just because those spikes there, the instant death spikes, well, they show up a lot in the Bushlands, which was originally called Grasstown, by the way. It was originally called Grasstown in the freeware release. Another thing that pissed people off. But those instant death spikes are everywhere, and I guess Pixel just kind of put those in the original, like put those in Santa's house just so people wouldn't be like, "Hey, what the fuck? Why didn't somebody warn me about this?" Yeah, well, you did. It's not my fault you didn't check it. Anyway, here we have the fireball, which actually does the same amount of damage at every level. The difference is level 1 only lets you have 2 fireballs fired at the same time. Level 2 lets you fire 3, and level 3 lets you fire 4. The fireball is an immensely useful weapon against bosses and for firing up and down hills, because things bounce, which is pretty cool. I really like the fireball. I do end up using it just way too much. It's a really neat weapon, and Santa is awesome for giving it to us. So the first thing we do here, besides, you know, helping Santa get back into his house, is we explore over here. We have another house and lots of bats. Go inside. Here's Chaco's house. We assume this is Chaco. "Hi, how may I help you?" "The thing you have there looks quite dangerous." What thing are you talking about there, Chaco?" "You see a hole on the other side of the building, flames, but you can't get past the fire." "Yeah, it kind of burns." I guess she gets a lot of travelers coming through that want to go through her fireplace. And she tells us that we need jellyfish juice if we want to put out the fire. But I didn't see any jellies that she's talking about. Go for the biggest one. Let's take a nap. Wherever you see these beds, you can actually rest, and it will refill health. Usually they show up just as often as the energy stations. And what the hell is Chaco doing in the bed with us? That was weird. If you check your inventory, you will actually have Chaco's Rouge, which does nothing, but it does kind of imply that, well, I'm not going to say anything, except maybe that there were some, sexual relations. We did maybe, make sex with Chaco. That's a little weird. But now that she's mentioned these jellies, all of a sudden they're fucking everywhere. Here we have jellies. They're actually very easy to take out. There's not a huge problem. But we have to take out the biggest jelly in order to get through the fireplace at Chaco's. And that's actually not all we need the jellyfish juice for. We need it for a lot of things. In fact, we need it for 4 things specifically. 3 of them we can do right now. Actually, the third is getting through Chaco's fireplace. So we actually aren't going to... We're not going to go through Chaco's fireplace yet. We're going to use our psychic played the game already powers to get a little bit of a head start on what's to come. So we shoot out all these jellies. You don't have to shoot out all those jellies. You can go up top and go for the big jelly at any time if you want to. Actually, we're gonna fail at platforming. We're gonna try and make our way up here. Whoop. Woo. And we have another health power-up. Another life capsule. This music always kind of reminds me of the, like, you gotta power-up music from Metroid, and I think it was purposely designed to sort of sound like it. But anyway, here we have a metric crap ton of jellies surrounding that big one up top. I don't know if you saw it. But let's take out all these critters around here first. It'll definitely make things easier for ourselves. Oh god, there's like little tortilla chips just everywhere. Oh man, I'm a fan of Tostitos, you know, but I could use some queso dip or something. It'd be nice. I mean, they're already yellow. Maybe they're already dipped in queso. It's very nice. But anyway, you take out this big jelly who's invincible when he goes all pale like that, but I mean, you can get a couple of hits in, and he's not that difficult. For some reason, he carries around the jellyfish juice instead of it just naturally occurring. He carries it around inside of a jar, which is inside of a chest, which is inside of his body. That just seems horribly inconvenient. So, first thing we're going to use this jellyfish juice for is we're going to go back to Santa's house, and we're going to go, we're going to put out his fire, we're going to steal the charcoal. I hope it's not winter in Grasstown. In the Bushlands, I'm sorry. I'm used to the original game, and I'm used to it being called Grasstown, especially since the music that plays is called Welcome to Grasstown. You just sort of get it in your head, you know. You know how it goes. But anyway, that's the first use of jellyfish juice. The thing is, you can only carry one jar of jellyfish juice at a time, so you have to use it and then go back and get some more. And I'm probably not going to show the process every time. I'm probably just going to cut ahead to me grabbing the jellyfish juice and then taking it to where we can use it next. So, I'll see you guys in just a second. There we go, we got our second jar of jellyfish juice, and this time we actually want to take it back to Mimiga Village. This is something that I did not learn about on my first playthrough, and in fact there's a lot of things like that you won't learn about on your first playthrough. But don't worry too much about it, there was a lot that I had to look up after I finished it for the first time. There's a lot of hidden things in this game, and it's really neat how much there is to find. It's just incredibly impressive that one guy made a game just so intricate. That there's so many different things that you can do, that the game can be different every time you play it. But anyway, we take this jar of jellyfish juice to the assembly hall where we talk to Jack and King. We put out the fire, and we get our fourth weapon, the Bubbline. This one also has limited ammo, but it does recharge by itself, so that's not a problem. Level 1, it is just like it's a pathetic little item. It really is. I mean, you know, you can fire one bubble for every button press, and every bubble does, like, 1 damage. It is, like, incredibly weak. But, of course, as you power it up, it gets to be pretty amazing, and, in fact, it's pretty useful for taking out the big jelly. And also long little storms of smaller enemies, because you will find a lot of those, like kind of little bat storms. It's really nice for use against those, though. It does not take, damn it, it doesn't take a whole lot of experience to level up the Bubbline. Did I call it the Bubbler at first? I think I did. That was what it was originally called. You'll probably hear a lot of that. A lot of those lost in translation kind of things coming out of my mouth, because I did play the freeware version first. But the level 2 Bubbler actually has more of a machine gun quality to it. You can sort of hold down the button instead of having to press it once per bubble, and each bubble does 2 damage, which is considerably more useful, especially considering the fire rate increases. But the level 3 Bubbler is what we're really after. So let's go ahead and try and take out some of these critters and bats and things. See if we can't make this thing level 3. Alright, cool, level 3. So now it fires these bubbles, which sort of bounce around, and then they start to fire off in different directions, which is pretty cool. Like I said, this can be useful for taking out storms of smaller enemies, and you have to keep an eye on your counter there. Each of these bubbles does 3 damage, so if you get a big storm and sort of like concentrate them on one area, they can do a lot of damage. If you let go of the button, every bubble that's out right now will fire in whatever direction you're holding the D-pad, or the arrow keys if you're playing with a keyboard. Once there's, I think, 15 out at a time, they'll start to fire automatically. But either way, it's incredibly useful, the level 3 bubbling. And here we have our third jar of jellyfish juice. We're going to take that over to Chaco's house because now is the time that we're going to go through and explore the rest of the Bushlands. But I think we're going to do that in the next episode because this one is starting to run a little bit too long for my taste. So, thank you guys for watching. I've been Kirby Viper 93, or KB if you like. And in the next episode, we're gonna go and explore more of the Bushlands. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.